It is Sunday, October 27th, 2024, and this is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by SeatGeek. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, a very melancholy producer Dan along for the ride as well. You're the opposite of melancholy because you went to your first ever World Series game on Saturday?
Yes, Chris Rose. I famously never played in the playoffs, so definitely didn't go to the World Series as a player or as a fan until last night, and it was awesome. A couple of my buddies and I were talking about, just the Dodgers, our hometown team, being in the World Series. You never can, this looks like a team that might get back there, but you never know. So we decided to go, and it was a great experience. Another great game. The crowd was electric. Got to see Ice Cube walk through center field, which was really cool. It was a very LA. We had the mariachi band. We had Ice Cube. It was a very LA night. So it was fun, man.
We'll get to the entire evening momentarily, but a quick reminder that this edition of Baseball Today is presented to you by SeatGeek. Special announcement to celebrate the World Series. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, giving all of you out there 10% off your next purchase. Use the code JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. Doesn't matter whether you're buying for the first time or a repeat customer or whatever you're buying out there. Use that code JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. They're going to hook you up. That is JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10, 10% off your next SeatGeek purchase. You will thank us later. As for the game, Dodgers take, you have to use the word commanding 2-0 lead because that's in the sports announcer's cliche manual. Whenever you're in a series, it can't just be a 2-0 lead. It has to be a commanding 2-0 lead because they put out a fire in the ninth inning.
The four-seam fastball. Pinch hitting for Austin Wells. Bases loaded, 2 gone. Trevino lifts a fly ball to center field. Tommy Edman is there, and the Dodgers lead this World Series 2-0. It takes Alex Vesia 1 pitch to put out the bases loaded fire.
Come on, Joe Davis. Be more cliche than that. You have to say commanding 2-0 lead. Please, next time. That's why he's doing what I'm doing, or he's doing what he's doing. We're doing what we're doing. But that's fine. Did you think that we were going to have more like fireworks at the end? Bases loaded, second straight night?
I mean, there was kind of fireworks. The whole place, was amped up. You have Trinan on the hill, and you're like, okay, this game is kind of over. But, this is the second game in a row now, and they've kind of got to him, which has got to be encouraging for Yankee fans. But, yeah, there was a ton of traffic, starting with Soto, and, Jazz put together a really nice AB. I was sitting one section over from the Yankees family section. So, they were hyped with Juan Soto's homer. Then they were kind of quiet after everything. But during that ninth inning, man, they were getting really loud. And I thought both of these games, Chris, have been incredible. Even this one, throughout, the 4th through the 8th inning there wasn't much happening. You knew a couple runners on, one swing of the bat could change things. And it was that close in the 9th right there.
Yeah, I think overall, let's start with the Dodgers starting pitcher because Yoshinobu Yamamoto, this is why they made him the highest paid pitcher in the game. And it's not like this little amazing story. Like, this is what you should expect out of guys. And once again, I thought that Dave Roberts could have left him out there longer. He threw 86 pitches. I get it that he had been banged up and everything, but this is his penultimate start of the season. If we see him one more time, right? If it goes back to LA, he's going to pitch game 6. He's pitched 13 plus amazing innings against the New York Yankees. They got one solo shot by Juan Soto off of him. He had retired 11 in a row. He was in complete dominance. And for a team like the Dodgers that are going to need their bullpen, you don't know how much with Walker Buehler in game 3, then they're going full bullpen game in game 4. Like, I don't understand the reluctance of organizations because I don't think this is strictly a managerial decision. We saw Cole get pulled at 88 pitches. We saw Yamamoto get pulled at 86. Like, why not ride him longer?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted both those guys to stay, and I totally agree with you. For the Yankees, they don't have the depth in the bullpen that the Dodgers do. They have, a nice back end that they like. So that was shocking to me. Like, let's let Garrett Cole, who looks like he's in control, continue to go to save that bullpen. For the Dodgers, sure, you can take him out. I understand the pitch count, and I understand the depth of that bullpen. But the difference between the Dodgers and the Yankees is the Dodgers, like you said, they have to have a bullpen game. And I know there's an off day, and I know it's a couple days away, but how often this postseason we talked about, like, exposing the bullpen, not just overworking them, but exposing them to the hitters, that letting the guys see them more than once, or a couple times through a certain lane. So that was where my qualm with it was. It's like, hey, 11 in a row, like you said, he was absolutely dealing. There was no, I mean, he was throwing cheese yesterday too. The velo was there. I did not like it, especially because you let him start the inning. I know there was a couple lefties coming up, and that's kind of why they made this decision. But he has a lefty neutralizing pitch. This isn't like, I don't know. I thought it was crazy. I said at least let him finish the 7th. That's the bottom part of that order, and he had been dominating. I thought it was. I didn't like the move. I even put it out on Twitter. I said, as John Boy Media's Dodger representative, I need to have this on record. I do not approve of this. And
you
actually,
do not approve of this message.
There was huge boos as soon as Dave Roberts came out of the dugout, and then turned to a big standing ovation once Yoshi started walking off.
Well, I thought that they could have made a bigger story about this on the broadcast, and maybe I was just kind of half listening at that point. That Yamamoto could have easily been a New York Yankee. Like, he could have been pitching game 2 on the other side of this. And because the Dodgers came in with I believe a sweeter deal and ended up wanting to go to LA and everything, he's pitching in Dodger blue instead. To me, it's been almost the forgotten story all season long. And part of that is because he missed several months with an injury. But he seemed to be really hitting his stride when he threw those 7 shutout innings in the Bronx in early June. Then he had one more start, and then we didn't see him for a few months. And now we just kind of take him as another dude. And I don't think he's just another dude. Was that the first time you had a chance to see him in person?
I think it was. I've watched him pitch before on TV, but I think in person that was. I don't think he was there when I called the games for the Twins. I agree with you. I mean, there's a couple things that made him, quote unquote, forgettable during the year. Number one was his first start against San Diego. In Korea, everyone's like, oh my gosh, is he worth it? Then yes, he got hurt. I think that's a scary thing for the rest of the league. I mean, if you saw him pitch last night, and I was behind the plate, so it's like hard to judge a lot of things. Sometimes watching on TV is better when you're looking at pitching. But he looked very sharp, and he's going to have this year of experience, playoff World Series experience, come back in the next year. Him and Shohei will be on the mound, plus a bunch of Dodger pitchers are going to be healthy. Like, what the Dodgers are doing now, this is not at full capacity.
Right.
It's crazy.
Listen, they still have 2 more games to get to, and we're going to ask a question about pressure if the Yankees do win game 3. So we'll get to that momentarily. As for the Dodgers offense, it wasn't like they were hitting the ball all over the yard. They did knock Rodon out before the end of the 4th inning. They got to him with 3 home runs. Tommy Edman continued his amazing run. Teoscar Hernandez had a 2-run shot, and then, well, look who was back doing his thing as well.
Yesterday, hit that grand slam. Launches this ball right field. He's found the seats again.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman, in case you're curious, that is 4 straight World Series games in which he has homered, dating back to his time with the Atlanta Braves. Is it possible that he has moved up a notch or 2 based on his postseason performances over the years, in your opinion?
I think everyone already understands the type of player that Freddie Freeman is. But yeah, we talk about this all the time on this show. There is an upper echelon of players who are elite during the regular season, but also have the postseason track record, whether that's the rings, whether that's coming through. I think a big story for Freddie and why people are, really rallying around him in Los Angeles is, he came in banged up, and people love that. People really enjoy when someone's hurt and plays through it and then produces the way Freddie has. So, at the stadiums, you can kind of hear it on the broadcast as well. But last night, there wasn't anybody getting bigger pops than Freddie Freeman, not even Shohei Ohtani. I mean, chanting Freddie all throughout the night. There was nobody that was getting a louder ovation than Freddie Freeman. And I think, yes, you have to perform, but I also believe they, fans in general respect that when guys are playing through injuries. I I think that's why he's getting so much love right now.
I think that part of the reason I appreciate him more based on what he does in the playoffs is because he does exactly what he does in the regular season. Let me explain this. When you're looking at a guy like Freddie Freeman, we all know how great a player he is. But when we're talking about like the 10 most dynamic players in the game, he never gets mentioned. He is, I think I've used this equivalent before, that he feels a little like Tim Duncan. Like he's so consistent in everything he does that you forget to appreciate just how damn special a player he is. His OPS in the postseason is 877. That's about 20 points less than his regular season career OPS. My point is that there's not the fluctuation of his game. He's not Kike Hernandez, who during the regular season is a fine baseball player, but when October comes up, he turns into Babe frickin' Ruth. It's not the other direction, where Aaron Judge is one of the great regular season performers that we have seen in our lifetime. But you get to October, and all of a sudden, we're all wondering, what the hell's going on? What Freddie is remarkably consistent. He doesn't waver from his approach nor his game. And you know that whatever you get from late March through the beginning of October when the regular season ends, and then it continues into October, is going to be exactly the same guy.
I think him playing first base has something to do with that. When we talk about dynamic players throughout the game, we're searching for a middle infielder or a center fielder that goes and gets the ball and also can play on the offensive side. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his baseball reference page right now, and it is the model of consistency. I used to say that about Mike Trout too. When I would watch him play again, like playing against him, you're like, okay, like I know this guy's good, but like, is he the greatest player of all time? And then you just look up, and at the end of the year, he's 30-30 every single year, hitting 300. It's just he just is so freaking consistent with it. How about the contract that Freddie signed with the Dodgers? It looks like an absolute steal right now.
It sure does. Sure
it
does.
Is. I mean, 6 years, 162 million. He's making like 27 a year. I know that's a lot of money, people, but I think he's providing value still.
Well, the guy who has earned his money is Tommy Edman. He got the Dodgers on the board in Game 2 with a solo shot. He had a double a little bit later. He was the NLCS MVP. You go back and you look at the trade deadline, I think most people forgot that the Dodgers even picked up Tommy Edman. He was in that 3-team deal between the White Sox, Cardinals, and Dodgers. And if you were to rank the players in terms of importance at the time of the trade, he's 4th or 5th, right? Eric Fetty going to the Cardinals. We thought that was going to be a huge lift for them. We thought that Tommy Pham, energy-wise, going back to St. Louis was going to be kind of interesting. We thought Michael Kopech, wow, an amazing arm. Can the Dodgers get him right? And for the most part, they really have. Tommy Edman hadn't played a single game all season long, and now he gets out here. He plays multiple positions at a high level. He gives them tremendous athleticism. He gives them balance because he's a switch hitter, and now he's got all this pop on top of it. It just is, to me, you need these type of stories if you are going to be a world champion coming out of nowhere.
Agreed. We always say that, like somebody who's going to step up, not the stars. What kind of second-tier player is going to step up? I don't mean that in any disrespectful manner to Tommy Edman. He also was, I think, hurt when the Dodgers traded for him. So it's like, okay, what are they? I get it. They're banking on him being healthy by this time, but you just never know when you mention the other guys. I mean, what a trade deadline for the Dodgers that deal was. Getting Kopech, who's absolutely filthy. That was the most obvious one in my book, was Kopech needing to go to a different team and like having something to pitch for. Like, this stuff is so good. But yeah, Tommy Edman, I'm looking right now. I mean, he's 15 for his last 35. That's the CS and the World Series now. He struggled in the DS, but because of some injuries, he's been in there and obviously proved that he needs to be in there. And yeah, I think he has the right demeanor too, Chris. Like, for these postseason games, by now, everyone's used to playing in them by the World Series, so that the nerves, they're still there, but they've been able to kind of figure out how to deal with them. But Tommy Edman, to me, seems like a guy who's never too high, never too low, just goes and plays his game. And if you have the ability to do that, then those big situations aren't as, I guess, big. And he's shown that he can handle them, man. He's been phenomenal. 2-0 fastball in by Rodon right there. Didn't miss it. And, he's 5'10", but putting some power swings out there in these
So
playoffs,
3 other
man.
things about Tommy Edman I want to get to before we have to move on. One is somebody on the Rose rotation, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was, told me he is the smartest baseball player that he's ever played with. Super intelligent.
Stanford guy, right?
Yeah, Stanford guy, but not all guys that play baseball at Stanford are upper crust. Some of them get in there because they can really hit the
about
shit
Carlos
out of
Quentin?
baseball. Not saying who, not pointing fingers. Number 2, I talked about the balance. He's killing left-handed pitching right now. So with a team that has as many stars, Shohei, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, he's a guy that if you're going to put a lefty in there, you damn well better be careful because Tommy Edman is going to click you. And the last point I want to make is that I was doing a little research on him. Albert Pujols made a point of right after they picked up Edman in that deal to call Dino Ebel, who is the Dodgers third base coach and used to be with Albert in Anaheim, and said, y'all just got yourself a steal. Like, this is a legit baseball player. You guys are not going to know how good he is until he gets on the field, whenever that is, because of the injury. He didn't get there until like mid to late August. But y'all got yourself a great one. So when Albert's making a special call to somebody, we can all live with that. So good for him and good for the Dodgers, who take a 2-0 lead. Today's edition of Baseball Today, brought to you by SeatGeek, official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. With the World Series in full swing, celebrate. SeatGeek is giving a special offer to you guys. Once again, it is John Boy Playoffs 10 is the code. You're going to get 10% off your order, whether you're a first-time buyer or a returning customer. So take that phone, download the SeatGeek app if you don't already have it, add John Boy Playoffs 10 to your account, do it now. If you're not familiar with SeatGeek, it's the #1 rated ticketing app. It makes buying tickets so simple. In fact, they're always looking out for your wallet. They rate every ticket on a scale of 0 to 10. Make sure you're getting the best deal possible. So you're going to look on the seating chart. Let's say you want to go to an NBA game, right, with the league year just starting off. You look and you see floor seats might be color-coded red. You're saying, well, how in the world is a floor seat a bad deal for me? Well, they're looking out for what you're paying for it. So green dot is good. Red dot means bad. So take advantage of this special postseason hookup. Use that code JohnBoyPlayoffs10, 10% off your tickets at SeatGeek. The code works on tickets to anything. It doesn't matter how many times you bought tickets using SeatGeek before. So once again, open up that phone. The code is JohnBoyPlayoffs10 to your account. You'll thank us later. Who knows? Maybe you'll see us at a game in the near future. The question now is, will Game 3 have Shohei Ohtani hitting leadoff for the Los Angeles Dodgers? With his team up 4-1 late, he's trying to get into scoring position, slides into second base. Didn't exactly work out for him. He gets thrown out, and he gets the double whammy as he injured his arm. We couldn't exactly tell on the play, but he's favoring it. He was grabbing his wrist. We didn't know if it was a wrist injury, a finger injury, a shoulder injury. Well, he left the stadium almost immediately. Here's manager Dave Roberts on where we sit with this thing.
He had a little left shoulder subluxation, but everything. So we're going to get some tests at some point tonight, tomorrow, and then we'll know more in the next couple of days. But the strength was great. The range of motion good. So we're encouraged. But obviously, I can't speculate because we don't get the scans yet. So once we get the scans, we'll know more. But again, with the strength and range of motion good, that's certainly a positive.
Dave, I got your back. I can't say subluxation or whatever either.
Subluxation?
I mean, I don't know which way we go. Where do you put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there? I don't know.
It was just dislocated shoulder.
That's what I would have gone with. He's got boo-boo on his shoulder, Dave.
His shoulder's banged up.
I would have been panicking the whole time if they were like the doctors are like, all right, Dave, it's a subluxation. So make sure, I'd be like, pardon me? Can I just say you got a bad shoulder? Yeah, let's go. So as of right now, we don't know. We could find out later on Sunday. We could find out Monday what the prognosis is. But if he is not available either for a couple of games or the rest of this series, are we talking about a monumental shift?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Look, the Dodgers offense is good. There's a lot of players that can hurt you, but there's one guy that you are most scared of in that lineup, and it's Shohei. Every single time that thing turns over and Tommy Edman gets on base in the 9-hole, or actually he was hitting the 5-hole yesterday, or 5-hole. They turn the lineup over. It's scary, man. 1, 2, 3 like that. Plus Teo. I mean, it's just Obviously, it's a huge loss if he can't play. In my opinion, I think he's going to play. They talked about I've seen guys dislocate a shoulder before. I've seen guys, it hurts. You pop it back in, it's going to be very sore. They talked about range of motion was good. The strength is good, which is great. Because sometimes, there's a labrum might be, torn, or, the tendons are so loose, it's like you won't have that range of motion, whatever it is. Or maybe too much range of motion. It's going to be a pain tolerance thing, essentially. This is my understanding of it and having dealt with it in the past. So, look, it's the World Series. He's going to be taking something that's going to make him be able to play in that lineup. I don't think there's any way, if that's what it is, which I think is accurate. It's a pain tolerance thing. He's going to be in the lineup.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to sit here and guess because I'm not.
I'm guessing.
You're guessing.
Educated guess.
Yeah, you've dealt with it. I haven't. I don't. Both my shoulders suck because if I donated my body to science, they would reject it. Here's the issue. We know that nobody's Shohei. They don't have a perfect setup for DH, in part because nobody's done it. He's been the only guy. They've played 175 games this year when you include the playoffs. He's played in 172 of them. So nobody else has gotten a chance to DH. Now, do I think that maybe it's Max Muncy, and then maybe they put Kike at third, and then Lux at second, and Edman in center, and Miggy Rowe at short? Is that the way it goes? I don't know. They don't have an ideal DH because so many of their extra players are so versatile in terms of where you can put them. So which guy are you willing to pull out of the everyday lineup and also lose his glove?
Yeah. I think it's probably Max. I think you're right. I think you nailed it right there.
I think. Listen, I hope that he's okay. I know there was that video floating around of all these Yankee fans at a bar, and some of them were cheering. I want to get this out there because I think it's really important. That's not a room full of people cheering because Shohei was injured. That's a couple of jackasses, and every fan base has them. Don't go around painting Yankee fans as bad because you see a handful and that moron right there flipping them off. Yep, go get him, buddy. Go get him. That's right. Flip off Shohei. It's just ridiculous. I hate it when we speak in generalities of fan bases. When you hear certain fan bases boo or cheer and it's kind of inappropriate at stadium, it's not the right time, that's not a fan base. It's a handful of jackasses. That's all it is.
Totally agree. And usually they're inebriated, a couple beers down, couple inebriated. 3, 4, 5, 6, that was at Billy's. Shout out Billy's. They've been very good to me over the years. So, yeah, I agree. It's just a couple of idiots. But, yeah, in general, Yankee fans have always been nice. Even though sometimes you guys are mean to me on social media, I still know you guys are passionate and good people.
Yeah.
Love me some New York. I love New York, Chris. I do.
Yeah, I know you do. And I can't wait for the World Series to get back there.
You want to go?
No. But I was there for the last World Series game there.
I would go. I'd fly out. Let's go.
I'll have to get that picture out for
you,
for Tuesday.
PJ, straight to New York.
Oh, yeah. Only if Stafford flies us.
Yeah, I'll ask him. Hey, let me get your jet for a couple days here.
Hey, they have Tuesday off, so we could go to Monday night's game, fly back here, be back at 1 a.m. He'll be back for Tuesday's practice. He's got today off.
I'll run it by him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He might say, "Yeah, me and you will go," but Chris.
That's probably more accurate. In which case, you guys have a great time. All right, so officially the series now shifts to New York. Day off on Sunday, resumes on Monday. It'll be Walker Buehler and Clark Schmidt. A guy who knows something about coming back in the World Series is New York's first baseman, who made this point after going down 2-0 in the series.
The biggest thing is we win that game Monday. The pressure goes to the other side, and you make this a series.
Do you agree with Anthony Rizzo? If they make it 2-1, does all of a sudden the pressure shift back to the Dodgers?
I don't know if all the pressure shifts back to the Dodgers, but clearly, yeah, if they win on Monday, the Dodgers throwing a bullpen game the following game, I think there is some added pressure there. And then, if they lose that game, all of a sudden the series is tied. So, yeah, I mean, you have to go game by game if you're the Yankees right now. Do I think they're completely out of it? I think I did call it a must-win yesterday, but I meant there's so much they have to do now to get back in the series.
Mhm.
Can they do it? Yes. Has it been done before? Yes. The Yankees, are they the last example to do it? I believe in 96, which,
Correct.
by the way, I'm like, is that 25 years ago? No, it's a lot.
It's almost
more than
30.
20. Yeah, that's oh boy. So there's obviously a chance, and I do agree with him. That's all he's saying is we have to take it game by game, and they've been in both of these games. I mean,
Totally.
obviously, Freddie walked him off in the 10th, and then last night they had tying run at the plate or the go-ahead run at the plate. They've been putting up good at bats against the back end of the Dodgers bullpen, specifically trying. And so you have to. There are some things you got to kind of dig deep. I know there's some glaring holes right now. Aaron Judge has not looked great, and that's kind of like the biggest thing Yankee fans are hoping for is a turnaround from him. But yeah, if you win this game on Monday, go into that bullpen game. The Dodgers don't know what to expect out of that. They have an idea of what they want to do, but those things can go either way. So I agree with him. I think it's going to be it's a tall task, but this is a very, very good baseball team still, and they have the starting pitching to get it done. I think you have to look at that as a Yankees fan and feel not good about the situation that you're in, but there still is hope.
Well, that's the key, is that there is hope. And I will agree with Anthony Rizzo from this standpoint. I think the pressure wouldn't shift to the Dodgers. I think it would shift to Dave Roberts and whomever makes the pitching decisions upstairs with him. What I mean by that is Walker Buehler has pitched actually pretty well here in the playoffs, right? He had one bad statistical line against San Diego. But if you remember that, the Dodgers were kicking the ball all over the infield. It was the play where Machado wisely ran inside the baseline, got hit with the ball. Miggy Rowe had a mess up at second base. So it's not like they were, nailing them all over the yard. He just ended up giving up a ton of runs in 5 innings of work. So, going into game 3, probably the max you're going to get out of Buehler is 5 innings. Now the question is, where are you in that game and which bullpen pieces do you deploy? I think, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think the Dodgers would rather be down by like 4 runs when Buehler leaves the game than by 1 run. Because at least they can pick a lane. If you go, let's say they're down 3-2 and he's thrown 3 2/3. You got to get through the rest of that game and an entire bullpen game and who knows what in game 5. But that's 3 straight days possibly of activating your bullpen. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think on Monday, if that was a situation to occur, I think we would see someone like a Brent Honeywell come in and try to bridge the gap and give multiple innings. I think that would be the decision, and then keep your
but that's far from your A crew, is my point. Like if you're down a run, do you deploy your A group hoping that your offense gets you back in this? But if it doesn't, then you've already fired a shot and you got to use all those guys for game 4. Like that's where the pressure falls, in my opinion.
Sure. I understand that. Yeah. I mean, like I hope that happens. I want to see the chess match. I want to see what the Dodgers front office has to say about that. In my opinion, I think, like I said, I think they would go, if they're down 1 run and Walker gives them, what'd you say, 4 1/3. I would assume Brent Honeywell comes in and tries to give them multiple innings right there.
Yeah.
And then they try to go, I think the B bullpen, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but the B bullpen will be in for that part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, we have to call it what it is. Yes, there are guys that are in the A lane and the B lane for both of these.
I know, but sometimes it sounds disrespectful. And all these guys are great athletes and baseball players.
But there's a reason that we haven't seen certain guys in when it's that close. Yes. That's just the way it is. That's not being disrespectful.
That's just the way it is.
That's all. Come on now. You know what we all need a little bit more of? To get off our ass. With bold flavors and refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will get you off your ass, have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. A mountain where the weather's always perfect, your friends are ready to hang, a day of epic proportions awaits. So we love it when we have the perfect combination of fun and competition. So slide up that back door, head on outside, maybe to your local golf course, do a long drive contest, do a putting contest, maybe go to a pond, have a fishing contest, go play some football, do a longest throw contest. Maybe if you have a video game set up outside, throw on your gamer headset and go do that. You could play kickball, you could play wiffle ball, you could play blitzball, you could play pickleball, you could play any type of ball you want. Why? Because the mountain is calling and you should answer. So grab your friends, grab an ice cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and 3 words for you. Do the do. Before we get out of here, we'll go back to the beginning. Game 2 at Dodger Stadium. I'm getting ready for first pitch, and all of a sudden, the center field doors open up. Yay, yay! Ice Cube walks out. Now, it was awesome on TV. I know there's a lot of fans who were like, well, just give me my baseball. Just give me my baseball. How was it in person?
It was awesome. I mean, it was very, very LA. I told you, man. From this moment to the mariachi band playing, what was cool is everybody was kind of bumping their heads, even the Yankee players.
Yeah.
I had my phone down on there because I zoomed in. I was a little higher up. Alex Verdugo was just going,
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And so 2 songs, which was really cool. I don't know, man. Like, there's just something like LA has such an awesome history and culture. And I think the Dodgers do a really good job of kind of like showcasing all of it. It's a melting pot, and we definitely have the rap game right now. I know Ice Cube's a little old school, but that's exactly what we needed, man. Especially when he played Today Is a Good Day. It was pretty awesome, man.
By the way,
he switched out some lyrics too, which was
he had
cool,
to.
you know, to do like the he had to a couple, but I mean, he also did a baseball related too. I thought it was great, man. And just imagine for him, I know he's had a ton of accolades and done pretty much everything you can do in the entertainment industry, but walking from center field all the way to home plate, Dodgers World Series, I mean, it was just a cool moment.
How about the batter's box? How about getting in the batter's box?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he didn't care,
that thing. Like Glaber's walking up the batters. He's like, wait a second. There's footprints in here already.
Juan Soto actually, his first at bat called timeout before any pitch was thrown and kind of manicured the batter's box.
It really was incredible. Now, could it have started 5 minutes earlier? Probably.
Yeah. The game did not start at 5:08.
It did not.
It did not.
Could it have started? And by the way, shots fired. Yankees, your turn. Want to see what you got?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
I mean, they're probably scrambling right now. They're like, we don't
Wu-Tang
care what
Clan
it costs.
was my choice. Like, if they get Wu-Tang in there, I'm down for that.
Come on.
Why not?
They got to raise
That's
out of
the
the
answer.
ground, though.
I don't think you can do, I mean, Fat Joe's performing.
Fat Joe. Yeah. Fat Joe's good. I mean, he's not Cube. But
come on, Yankees.
Ooh, you're already saying, oh, wow. So they lose.
I think if they put Fat Joe out, no, again, I'm not trying to disrespect people. I'm just, trying to spit facts here. I think they lose the entertainment side of this if Fat Joe's the answer to Ice Cube.
By the way, there's an entire generation of people who think that Cube is just a sweet little Disney performer.
I know. He started out way different than that.
No, it was a little harder than that. A little harder than that. All right. Series has been great. I know it hasn't worked out for Yankees fans. Hopefully you get on the board on Monday night. We get ourselves a good series. And as Anthony Rizzo says, the pressure then shifts. But we can't wait. No new show on Monday unless there's some big news with Shohei Ohtani, in which case we will definitely tape something. If they say he's out for the rest of the playoffs, we're going to hop on here and do something about it. If not, then we will see you Tuesday. We cannot wait to preview that. It's going to be we'll break down Game 3. We'll preview Game 4. It's just going to be awesome. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, not to be confused with Ice Cube, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday here on Baseball Today, presented to you by SeatGeek. Yay, yay!
Yeah, Fat Joe.